I would love to kind of double click on some of the math elements here. Because both times I took math 11, I did C minus, C plus. So help me understand, what kind of math, what numbers are you looking at that you're trying to get when you're, say, looking at a brand new channel?
Well, I think whether it's a new channel or not, like the measurements, the things that we look at as far as the metrics, the KPIs are similar, like across the board, that we just sort of like, our customer acquisition cost is a big one. But I think at the outset, when you're evaluating whether or not for the channel, it's really the size of the market. Like we start with that. What's the customer base? Does that make sense? Is the opportunity, do we believe the opportunity is there? But that's hard to sort of put a metric on. But when you take it back and sort of internally in terms of our metrics, we're looking at what is the cost per lead? What's the customer acquisition cost from that particular channel? Is it more efficient than a different channel? Is it driving more leads? Is it driving better quality of leads? So these are the things that we tend to look at and focus on. And it doesn't really matter if it's a new channel or an existing channel, because we are going to be evaluating across the board these various channels to see which one is generating the most leads, but also the best quality leads, because you got to measure both.
Right. So it's, if I compare it back, you start with the size of the market. Okay, we've got 1,000 franchises or 10,000 franchises. Okay, how many reachable prospects through this specific channel? What is the cost per lead, cost per acquisition, and then what is the quality of those leads, customers coming through, and then what is the scalability of the channel? So like, do we have infinite scalability, or is it limited to like, we're going to go to these 7 conferences and that's it?
Yeah. Like we try to identify what is the size of the opportunity here. Like, is it low hanging fruit and it's super exciting? There's lots of great opportunity and we feel like we can really scale into this quickly. Is it something that's a great opportunity, but it's going to take some time? Like, you have to evaluate the opportunity at the outset, because what you want to be, you've limited resources, limited time, limited dollars. So you have to make sure that you're effectively focusing those efforts into the areas that's going to give you the greatest payback. What makes the most sense, which channel. And so you do have to, figure out which channel works better than the other. So especially when you're evaluating a new, it's going to be evaluated against the other things that you're already doing. Is it performing equally as well or not? And what is a reasonable time frame to estimate that?
Yeah. Just on average, and I don't want to pin you down here, but how much time would you give a new channel? Is it 4 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Is it more about the amount, like the spend?
For us, I tend to focus, and maybe because I'm a finance person, so I just qualify this by saying I look at everything through sort of the finance lens. It's just part of who I am. But in my experience, the shorter time frames, like 3 to 6 months, those early indicators tend to pan out. And so I find sometimes you can hold on to things in hopes because you really thought it might be true, and you're waiting. Oh no, we just need more data. But at the end of the day, there's always exceptions to this rule, but in my experience, it's been that those early indicators, generally the trends continue to pan out. So if you wait, and especially in startups and in the tech world, things change so quickly. You don't often have the luxury of giving something a year. You have to move quickly.
Yeah, totally understand. It also, it's tricky because some channels like SEO, or inbound content marketing, it's tricky to measure, right? It's not just a straight, single touch attribution. They're touching, like I look at, you try and measure the impact of doing this podcast. It's impossible. I believe it drives a good amount of interest, and it, at the very least, it keeps the brand fresh, it keeps new and interesting content. But like, how do I put an ROI on something like a podcast, or how do I try and tie it to any metrics? Because it's impossible. I don't know if it's impossible, but it's very, very hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's impossible as somebody who appreciates a good model and modeling. However, for all intents and purposes, it's very, very close to impossible in the sense of really nailing it down, because it's all going to be based on a level of assumptions. You have to sort of make a lot of assumptions in that to determine, what is the ROI on that? The only, one way that I could suggest to test is like, if you shut it down, what's the impact? Right? Then, but that's a pretty significant way to test it, right? Like, okay.